everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tube, or welcome back. If this is your fourth Reacher Season 2 episode review, hope you're doing well, hope you're staying safe out there. Hope your holidays were great. Well, in terms of like, just the actual holidays, I know like New Year's kind of counts as one, but like, it's kind of weird. Like usually like we normally don't have shows in the winter break. But like, Reacher's like, you know what? People be off. Reacher's just like, I'm doing my own thing. People are going to watch. Apparently Reacher's first 3 episodes in the first week, topping the charts in Prime Video, which I'm like, damn, again, between Reacher, The Boys, Gen V, Invincible, I mean, Prime Video is kind of, and I know there's other shows on Prime, those are just the only 4 I'm even remotely into. It's just kind of like weird, like how the streaming wars are going, like you never know what's going to be the next big thing. And the fact that Reacher's still killing it. Again, was it because of the first 3 episodes being all together? Who really knows? But I'm just very, very happy about it. Definitely they already renewed it for Season 3. Maybe internally they're already renewed it for Season 4. I don't know, man. Like, again, when Alan Richardson becoming a much more in-demand actor, you kind of want to get these seasons, filmed pretty quickly. I wouldn't be surprised if we would be back here at the end of next year for Season 4. Season 3, my bad. Because of the fact they're already shooting it. So that's crazy for me to believe to believe in, but we're not talking about that far ahead into the future. Here we are. We're in the middle of Season 2 now. We're at officially the halfway mark after this episode. Honestly, with kind of how the trajectory of this season's been going, this kind of felt more like this similar to last week's episode, where like it was slow and burn. We're like taking a little bit pump of the gas pedal right here. Again. We're still moving. Like, this is honestly like the most movable season. And again, I know there's only 2 seasons, but like Season 1 being primarily mostly in Margrave, and then with the flashbacks being all over the place. And then this season kind of being more like, we're going kind of all over the East Coast right now. I find that to be very intriguing. Interesting. But again, like, it's the pacing of things. We're like, it's a TV show. No matter how small things are, you are going to have these moments where like, we need to like take a breath, kind of like, report back into our characters, kind of like, inform and discuss, and then kind of go back into it, to the action stuff that everyone keeps loving to see. And again, once again, they just know how to do it. They just know. I will say, I think this week's episode was better than the last one, and I was like almost close to like, I kind of was preferring last week's, even though last week for me was kind of like, again, this is not even like trying to say it's bad. It's just was kind of like the weakest of the 3, but it was still great. This episode was on that trajectory until the last like 10 minutes hit, and I'm like, oh my god, I wasn't even expecting that, And it's my head between what I known about before, and I'm just really, wait, this is a TV show. This is going to be a little bit different here, and I just love what they did here. I really, really did. It just goes to prove the show that like Reacher is in the conversation this year about best TV seasons period this year. I just can't wait. I just cannot. I'm so giddy to get into that second half. I really am. And I can't wait to see how things play out for things. So with that being said, let's go for the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of Reacher. So we are at a diner. Because, they're very low-key as hell. We're in a very low-key diner. They're them eating some breakfast. We sadly do not get a Reacher style plate here, but we do get to see just again, they bring in trash bags full of paper, and the diner staff doesn't even bat an eye on the hell what's going on here. Like, I don't know. I really don't know 100%, but like for me, I'm like, I would be a little suspicious. Like, where do they get this paper from? It's a little sus in my opinion. So they're just combing through it. Nothing seems to be kind of, eye-popping moment right now. Nothing's really shaking them a little bit, to the whole manner of like, we broke into, again, very cool action scene last week, but like, did we literally break into a freaking building for just paperwork on HR and just random miscellaneous shit? Who the hell knows? Meanwhile, back over in the NYPD land of just a random lieutenant or commissioner's office. I forgot his name already. I forgot. I literally had all their names memorized, and I'm just like the detective that they're working with. He's getting yelled at by his superior about like, you had literally one job: keep these 4 under wrap. Which I'm like, again, you're working with 4 former military personnel that have a history of just doing whatever the hell they want, and you were expecting this one guy to keep them in check? Nah. Even this guy's like kind of like peering into like their territory, like, hey, relax. I know what I'm doing. I don't agree with what they're doing, but I know what I'm doing. So like, cut me some slack. Let me reach out to them and see what they know. And he's like, okay, you go do that. Otherwise, next time you stay quiet in my office, I will report you. Or I really don't know. It doesn't seem like these people have any, like, seeing Reacher and this team kind of like do whatever the fuck they want. It's kind of like any other form of government right now. I really don't even like, I don't really even treat them with like the diligence of respect right now. And that's not a bad thing. It's just like, if you're going up against this guy, I'm going to respect this guy over here. Not going to lie. I'll follow his orders. I won't follow your orders. This is how I am as a person. So we're back in the diner. He's trying to call them, but Reacher's like, nah, I'm not going to deal with this motherfucker right now. They're looking. Neagley brings up a email correspondence that their former SI was who he was working at with at New Tech. A mysterious song selection, which all four of them though, he hates this artist. Why the fuck is he even like talking about this? And they do a little research, and it's like, okay, the song is called Little Wing, and ironically enough, New Tech has a official report about a program called Little Wing, which again, it's a weapon. That's all they have, and that's basically how much they do. And I'm like, okay. Well, that doesn't really get us anywhere. Like, okay, we know they're working on something, but again, how the hell do we figure this out? So they're figuring out, okay, someone at New Tech should know this. So it's got to be one of the thousands of employees that work there. And we're just like, you know what? I got all the time in the world. We'll just go and find each employee and knock down their doors one by one, which again, like, I appreciate the moxie, but we don't got the budget to like literally have you interrogate a thousand people. It would seem very fun and interesting, but eventually it would just kind of get a little old. Eventually, I want to say they figure out this political connection where, like, if this is like a very like piece of weaponry, it's got to go for Congress. It's got to have some sort of approval there. And eventually, I think they figure out one local politician that's been like very much like a rich, spoiled kid where, like, he got everything he wanted, he never got in trouble, and then he got into a position of power, and he's kind of just been influencing politics, the usual things that kind of, like, as the older I get, and ironically, the more TV shows I watch, which I'm like, yeah, those exist. Those really do exist, because, like, rich people would do anything to stay in power. It's shitty, but guess what? That's just the world we're in right now, so I'm like, what more can you do there? I get a little lost here, to be honest with you. This is kind of like where I get like the slowness where like I appreciate like we're slowing down the pedal a little bit. And I'm forgetting what they exactly do right now. I know we catch up with AM, who is visiting a doctor, ironically, about changing his face, which I'm like, interesting. I feel like this is an interesting approach, to like, reach out to a surgeon, trying to get your face changed, get a new actor or actress in the role. I'm pretty sure it's just a face change. So actor. It would be a very interesting approach for this, like, still mysterious villain we still know nothing about. And literally, he just stabs the doctor in the face, and I realize, y'all two look like twins. And I'm checking this X-ray thing, and I'm like, oh, these are two separate actors. Either these two were, like, very much close by to being siblings, or whatever the makeup team did for this doctor character, which I'm like, damn, you freaking, it literally looks like a freaking twin. And that kind of now brings us to content where you say like, oh, you have a very handsome face, which I'm like, of course you're saying that. It's literally your face. So he kills him. He takes his ID. He takes basically all his forms of identification. He kills the receptionist, and like, okay, now he has a new ID. He gets a new rental car under this new name. Mysteriously gives a comic book away to a kid, which I'm like, I don't know what that's about. At some point in the second half, we gotta get some sort of backstory on this guy, because I'm still lost with this guy. What the hell he's up to in all this. Eventually they're at a motel. Okay, now I remember. They're at a motel. They're doing more research about the politician. That's where they're getting all the info dump I said before. Then Reacher reaches out, no pun intended, to the detective again. He's trying to like, berate them for, their cowboy shit. But Reacher's like, nah, look, here's all these people that I want you to look up. Give me some background checks on them, and then call me back when you get some. And he's like, what am I, your clerk? And he's like, yep. And he's like, okay, well, where are y'all going? Like, where are we going next? And like, I'll see you at the symposium, which I'm like, that's the most Vegas shit on the planet. But like, obviously they're going to Boston because he bought a ticket. That politician's going to be in the Boston symposium. So, they're going to dress up fancy, for this event, regardless of whatever may happen. I want to say this is where the point where we kind of split a little bit. Yeah, because so Reacher and oh god, O'Donnell are gonna go off and do something else, and I completely forgot what the heck they do. I know that Neagley and the one I think it's Dixon because I remember Daryl Dixon. I don't know her first name. Don't get me too far in that. They go to visit someone else that's an employee of New Tech. I want to say they go into their house. There's a Nintendo Switch product placement, which I'm like, Zelda, I think Mario's on there. Some pretty cool choices, in my opinion. So it's a mom and daughter, and you know, it's completely like, you know, abandoned. Not to the sake of like it's empty, but like literally it's been like something happened. They literally picked up their stuff and went. Where they went, they don't know, and they found a bag full of emergency money, which isn't left untouched. So it kind of, you know, brings more into credence of what the heck's going on here. Reacher's at some point during all this, it just happens in the meantime where like he's defending Sean, the supposed SI that turned on them to working at New Tech, and Reacher's just trying to be like, you know, the good Samaritan for once, and thinking like, yeah, no, there's no way he could have done it. He was one of us, like he would never turn to the dark side. And I'm like, bro, you haven't seen this man in years. Like, literally, a person can change in 1 year, you know, regardless of how strict their morals are. Like, not everyone's like Drew from Degrassi that's sucking your dick. You know, other people, they got some other pieces on their agenda. Even Reacher has a flashback to when they finish up this big drug bust operation. Everyone's celebrating. Everything seems to be going well. And then someone, Neagley's checking the manifesto to make sure everything's, you know, accounted for. There's one pack, I want to say cocaine or something like that, that's missing. They look at Sean, who was the one transporting the material, and they go to check his car because, like, obviously, of course, like, you know, they gotta check, you know, everything's gotta be accounted for, and they find another pack of the drugs in his car, and he's like trying to write it off, saying that, oh, I'm sorry, I must have accidentally dropped it when, you know, while I was getting it out of the car. My bad. You know, now that we got that, like, it's a little sus. It's a little sus right there, so that's why the team is kind of like beginning to write the morals of like, did he actually do that on purpose, or was it an accident? Now, you know, we're on New Tech, like, you can see in the fact, this is a big weapons deal, probably, like, you know, would it be possible that he did this, like, to get his, like, next chance, like, at a big score? Nothing certain right now, but, meanwhile, it's time to go to Boston, which ironically I've been to, so I'm like, you know, I've only been to Boston once, and I won't say much about it, but, like, it's a lot of open bridges, I'll say that much. But that area is pretty chill, anyway. A little bit chilly. I'll be a little bit frank over there. So they all have to get new outfits, you know, look fancy. Reacher literally says like, yeah, I threw out my old clothes again. I'm already carrying these boots. That's about it. I'm literally just gonna carry these boots for the rest of the day. That's the most you're getting out of me. I'm not carrying any clothes. I'm not carrying anything, because he has the best, like, you know, line delivery where he's saying like, well, if I have to carry my clothes too, I have to get a suitcase. And if I get a suitcase, where am I going to store the suitcase when I don't need it? I need a place to live in, an apartment, let's say. And then I got to do all these things related to the apartment. So I'm like, no, not going to happen. Like, I'm going to keep these boots, and that's it. Which I'm like, you know what? This is Reacher being Reacher, and I love it. Neagley's in a dress, Dixon's in a dress. Everyone's just like, you know, staring at them for different reasons. And Neagley's like, you know, not the what to be wearing dresses, so like she just said, I'm gonna kill you all. And another sign of how broke Reacher is, or at least like trying to like live tight on his pension. He's just paying, you know, Neagley, I got you, give me a month, I will pay you back. And Neagley's like, there is absolutely no way a month of your pension is gonna pay back anything you owe me. And he's like, give me 2 months. So they're on the move, they're on to Boston. Neagley's acting as cover. Dixon's drawing in the politician, you know, the lure of attraction to like a very gullible single man, and Reacher and O'Donnell are busy at another diner, just looking at the notes again, trying to figure out what's going on. And then eventually Reacher, for once, actually being the one to actually solve it, he finds out these are not dates. They're actually, well, they kind of look like dates, but like it actually is potential ratios of like, okay, there's 13 times we were supposed to do this, only 12 of them worked, you know, and et cetera, et cetera. And the math of like what was succeeding and fail equals 650, which was one of the numbers that one of their SIs told his girlfriend back in episode 2 before he left. So it's kind of starting to fit into play, but I'm still pretty much confused. What is the main objective to all this? I'm still confused about that part, to be honest with you. Eventually, Dixon manages to attract the politician away from the theater on the promise of drugs. And that reminds, I totally forgot that Reacher and O'Donnell went back to the same drug dealers from, I want to say, the second episode or the third episode. I think it was the second episode. The one where like Reacher already smashes them, one of the guys with the car. And Richard just like punches the dude in the fucking abdominal again, and I'm just like, this is not this guy's week. Where like he got hit by a car, and then he got like manhandled by a tall, bigger man, which I'm like, damn. I think you need to get out of the end, or move somewhere else. Like I'm really hoping the rules of 3 apply. We just get one more scene with them, and I just realized, am I recording? Am I recording? I am recording. I'm just making sure. I don't have my glasses. One of my resolutions for the new year, get new glasses. So yeah, so she lures him into the car with the promise of drugs. Gotta have a crazy night. Just like, let's maybe do some drugs. Maybe go back to your place, have some fun. And he's like, you know what? If I'm getting late tonight, I'm gonna take the risk for it all. And someone knocks on their door. And I'm like, oh god, it's probably the bald-headed dude or something like that. It's like, okay, well, they probably just tie in like a celebrity or something like that to play, like a celebrity cameo whatsoever. No, it's actually Finley from season 1, which I was like actually taken aback. I was not actually spoiled about that whatsoever. I was actually okay, actually my bad. I did see an article say that season 1 character was going to make an appearance, and I'm like, it could be anyone. It could just be a random person, like a background cameo. Oh, but no, it's actually Finley. And honestly, again, I completely forgot what the hell happened in season 1 because it was so long ago. And I'm just like, yeah. I mean, I saw Malcolm Goodwin for a few years on iZombie, then on Reacher. So him coming back was so cool. The reason why I was surprised because like usually they don't do this. Like in the books, it's literally always like a new cast of character. Maybe there's like a handful of recurring people that's close to Reacher, but. I don't remember if Finley is in the book version of this, but like, I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't. And this was just like a cool moment of like, oh hey, we're tying in like season 1 and season 2, which I'm like, oh that's cool. And even Reacher's alias for like, because Reacher and O'Donnell are posing as FBI agents to like get information out of the politician. His fake agent name is Agent Margaret, which I'm like, again, cool, very cool callback to season 1. And yeah, there's nothing more to say there. Like it was just so cool to see. So they're interrogating him. It's the traditional like good cop bad cop over thing where like they get the information out pretty quickly. Apparently, Little Wing was originally supposed to be this defense program for aircraft to protect themselves from missiles, and then another tech company bought them out the program to develop it to more like a weapons format to shoot down enemies from the air. So basically it's a weapon to take out aircraft, which I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm like, all right, but I don't feel the stakes. I really don't feel so. I feel like we need to wait like for the evil maniacal term where like, oh, it's all revealed to be like this bigger, like, threat to the country. Who the hell knows really? Maybe he gets the scene of like, issuing like the usual political jargon of like, I'm in power, I'm the one doing the influencing, moving pieces around to like get certain things past her now, which I'm like, damn, that's again like very concerning because like again, it's kind of like just a callback to like our state of like how our politicians handle things, but like again, not trying to get into that right now, but this is how the reality is right now. So they leave. Reacher has a moment with Finley catching back up with him after almost 3 years away. So apparently Finley was supposed to retire, but then he came back. Now he's working for the Boston PD as a lieutenant. So pretty cool. I'm assuming that means the other character from season 1 is now the lead over there. I'm assuming as much. I really don't know 100% speaking. The dog's still all right. It's still under his care, doing very much all right. He's just eating a lot more than he should have, which I'm like, yeah, that's Reacher's dog for you. Okay, it was a cool scene. Very much a cool scene. This was just cool. This was very cool to see. To like, hopefully when we come back to season 3, we'll see the bald-headed detective come back for a cameo. I think that would be just like a fun tradition to go forward. So the 4 regroup back in a van. Now that they have this information of, oh yeah, I forgot to mention the politician also mentioned that New Tech has a second facility in Denver, which is producing the actual technology for it. So now they gotta go to Denver and take a stopover on that front. But they decide we're going to split up the teams, Neagley and Dixon goes up to Denver, see if they can like shut down this operation while him and O'Donnell are gonna go up to DC and see if they can figure out what really is going on the political side of things, what they can discover. So they're ready to go. They get to a restaurant for some late night din-dins and also to change to regular clothing finally. And apparently not so fast. Like there's a bunch of bikers over there. They try to take their guns, and it's like again, I don't feel tension because I know someone's getting their ass kicked, and it's not Reacher. And spoiler warning, it's not Reacher. They literally just 4 special investigators take down this entire bikers gang with relative ease. It was freaking brutal. Just like Reacher destroying one of their legs in their shin, which I'm like, okay, I've seen enough. Mayhem for one night, and they finished him off. He finds his cell phone in one of their pockets, calls up the last number. It's the big boss again, which Langstrom. And Langstrom's just like, you're becoming a real pain in my ass. But I'll give you a deal. You back off right now, I'll give you anything you want. And Reacher's like, I only want one thing. To throw you off a helicopter. Which I'm like, if that's not the way season 2 ends, I will legit be saddened by it. But again, we have still 4 more episodes to go. But that was it for this week's episode of Reacher. I thought this was great. Like I said at the top, the Finley's appearance and this final fight literally made the episode for me. I feel like this would have been like another one of those yeah, we're moving the plot along a little bit. Again, when any TV season, it's always going to be difficult to make every episode perfect. It really is. But the fact that, they managed to, keep it, keep it kind of you chugging along a little bit at like a lower speed, but then picking it back up with the season 1 callback. Then, the big fight scene was also cool to see. I'm still confused on the overall, what the heck is going on sort of thing. It seems like Sean is looking to be the bad guy, but I wouldn't be surprised if they pitched it the other way. No, it was just a misunderstanding. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how that all goes, mind you. Langstrom, I'm really hoping he takes some center action in the second half. I feel like him just being the villain that sits in these random scenes is not really, building up too much tension. The only thing I'm looking forward to is when Reacher kicks his ass at the end of the season. I really want a little bit more panache here. I want a little bit more pizzazz with this villain. But, because again, he can't play a great villain before. He can't. Obviously he's a great character actor. He has great line delivery, but I want to physically see him on scene. So hopefully we'll get to see more of that in the second half, mind you. And, again, AM, what the hell he's working up to. Again, this man is unhinged in a similar way to Reacher, but at the same time, it's he's more cold and calculating, while Reacher kind of does have a softy heart to an extent. I really don't know. But yeah, overall speaking, I thought this was a great episode. I think it was better than last week's by a tad bit. Still not reaching those first 2 episode vibe, but still consistently just a great first half of the season. Can't wait to see if the second half is going to either pick it back up a level or just keep the same consistent flow. Either way, I wouldn't be disappointed. So I'm going to give this episode 2 thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this week's episode of Reacher. I would love to hear your thoughts down below, as always. But I believe that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's the Two from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the 2nd season of Reacher. If you want to know what we're doing normally on What's in the Two besides our Reacher episode reviews. Right now, we're just doing Reacher. We should have some other content coming out very, very soon, but it's the end of the year, so we're kind of running on a little slowly, mind you. But we will be back this weekend for another episode of Reacher, so stay tuned for that. But again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Like, favorite, share if you want to. Ring that bell and follow us on social media. But until we see each other again, for all you Reachers out there, thank you so much for watching. But until next time, stay safe out there, be good to each other, and as always, peace out.